everybody, welcome to the channel. This is another race analysis presented by Newtype Cycling. I'm your host, Jared. Today we've got myself and Jake riding in the Cat 3-4 race up at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds here in North Carolina. This is the first race of a long summer series that we've got every Tuesday night. It's going to be a blast. If you check the rear cam, I've already got a little bit of a gap going, and we're rolling off pretty easy right now. Real quick, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. Really helps the channel out. Trying to get 2,000 subscribers this year. Appreciate all the support. Okay, well, I had a little bit of a gap and started rolling up, and I just kind of put the pedals down and started rolling. Well, wasn't long. Four guys bridge up to me, and we've got a little bit of a gap going into lap 3 right here of this 45-minute crit. And I'm pretty surprised. Like, look at the rear cam. Like, there's no one in sight. I was totally shocked by this. I was surprised how unmotivated people were at the very start of the race. But we're lining it up, trying to play it smart, seeing what can happen to this. Guy behind me's throwing up the message, hey, letting us know we do have a gap. But you can see everyone's just checking behind themselves, checking their shoulders, seeing, like, are they actually coming? And when you start seeing that, like, that just when you know, like, the commitment level's not there. We had the speed, you know, going upwards of 27, 28 miles an hour right there really helps. But sure enough, we get brought back and nothing happens. Well, a couple laps later, a very similar, just easy attack happens. The guy on the front ramping up the pace to 30 miles an hour. There's a guy off the front about 15 yards right there, and we're slowly just ramping it up. Check the rear cam. We're starting to get a little bit of a gap again. I'm chomping at the bit. I'm like, this sounds great. I was like, this is exactly where I want to be early in the race, feeling somewhat fresh at the start, and, you know, hopefully we can make something happen. Well, we catch that little guy, the leader who had like a 15-yard gap on us, and again it starts to slow up just a little bit. This guy on the right lets us know we have a gap, and he's psyched, he's motivated, but instead of like slowly ramping up the speed, he gets out of the saddle right here and just smashes it, and that just doesn't help anybody, where we all have to like attack off that. If he would have slowly ramped up the speed, I think we could have started to put a gap on these guys, and maybe something would happen. Unfortunately, it doesn't. This gets brought back. It is what it is. Pushing on, guys. We're now 8 minutes into this 45-minute. We got the third attack going. I see Jake covers that really quick, and as my job, like counting the numbers, I'm just going to let him go do his thing, and when people start coming around me, I'm slowly going to fill in. What's tough is there wasn't that much participation tonight. There was roughly like 20 to 25 of us, and some guys started popping off pretty quick, so it's kind of tough for me to know, like, you know, I need to get points, but also, like, when half the field goes by me, you know, it's like, well, am I allowed to like chase my teammate at that point? I definitely don't want to miss out on the finish, so I just kind of keep it smooth right here, keep it steady. And luckily, the race comes back to me. That little attack doesn't go anywhere, and we start settling in a little bit. But this is a great course. You guys have seen this video before, or this track. Love the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds. Appreciate them letting us come out and race. Pushing onwards. 10 minutes in, guys. We've had a little bit of a gap right here. Jake does a great job navigating around a couple guys who aren't motivated to close that down. There's a couple teammates of theirs up in the front, and so we do a little surge, catch it up. They all let up. We'll check the rear cam. Shannon in the black and red kit, red Trek, smashes by us, and he just catches us on good timing, and his teammate chases him, and none of us go after him. We're all kind of like caught off guard, out of position, and by the time we see the gap open up, it's like, man, we'll have to just smash out a bunch of watts to get there. So nothing really happens. And they have a teammate right here in the black bibs, red kit up front on the left, not the long-haired guy. So we're navigating around him because he's probably gonna block. He does check the rear cam. He does a great job getting on my wheel to stay towards the front, and he's gonna power around me on the left side right here. coming around this little chicane. And what does he do? He gets right back on the front where he's supposed to be to bring the pace back down, to try and let his teammates catch a break. Well, I recognize this coming out of the turn right here, and I'm like, oh no, like we've got to keep the pace up. Those two guys are strong. If they're working together, especially if they're teammates, you know, it's so much easier for them to do that. Well, he starts leaning on us a little bit, kind of just, you know, doing his job. Well, it's my job to kind of get him off the front. And so I box him in a little bit, disrupt his momentum, and try and get him off the front so we can keep a nice and steady pace to go run these guys down. And we do, bring him back, races all back together. Moving ahead, guys, 20 minutes in now. There is one guy off the front, and it's this black and red kit's teammate. There's 4 guys total, so we have 3 guys in the group with us, and they have 1 off the front. And he's got a pretty good gap, and I'm just trying to navigate right here and keep the pace up so we keep him in sight. Well, while I'm navigating through, check what Jake's dealing with behind me. This is such a good time. They're jabber jawing and throwing bows, leaning on each other. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit overkill on the red team's part, but hey, no hard feelings. We'll race with them next weekend, so it'll be a good time. But that's always fun to see a little bit of crit drama. Well, while this is all going on, there is a single rider who we ended up bringing them back, and we're ramping up the chase right now to try and get him reeled in. And we've let him hang out there for probably about 10 minutes. And unfortunately, boom, right there, I just pedal striked coming into that left-hander, and you can see my power meter's dead now. And Jake's off the front with a group, and I'm just trying to slowly just like tail gun a little bit, stay close enough to where, you know, if he gets lucky and gets like 1 or 2 guys to go with him, that's fine. But if not, I'll be right there and I won't get blown off the back. But the pace is really ramping up to try and catch that single guy who's way out there, because he's in our sights. We can tell he's getting a little tired, and we want to reel him back in since we're, you know, 30 minutes into this race. It's coming down to the closing minutes. But while all this is happening, everyone's just kind of like jockeying for position and just kind of seeing what's going on. No one's really wanting to be on the front, but a couple of these solo riders, they do a great job, and they just attack again and again. And it really ramps up the pace, and you can see Jake's right. He's 3 wheels in front of me, and he's feeling it because he was just on the front doing a pull to try and bring back the leader, and he got countered. I keep my head on a swivel and see this and like, oh no, that's a huge gap, and so I have to go around. Luckily, one of the red guys goes with me, and it's a little bit of a wheel to catch on. He is gapping me though. I just do not have the snap of my legs tonight to cover those and stay on those wheels like I should. I had a long week of getting a lot of elevation. I was doing some climbing training for an upcoming gravel race, and just on this Tuesday night, I did not have the snap. Well, this rider in the red right here, hard to see him on the screen, was blocking, and so these 2 Benismo riders in the blue do a great job to get around him, and I'm just doing smooth, consistent power and just hoping that these guys let up, because I have nothing in me to do another sprint if I want to contend for something at the end of the race. So this is not looking good for me. Jake is behind me off the back a little bit, so it's definitely not looking good for him. And luckily, right here on this stretch, right before the chicane, they let up because we catch that leader. Well, as soon as we catch that leader, the red team, perfect team tactics, they launch another guy. And I'm super tired at this point, and I'm further back enough to I don't really realize that they've got a guy on a flyer. Well, we're slowing up enough because they've got guys up front blocking, doing a great job, and we're all kind of just like trying to figure out who's going. Well, the guy we just hit with the arrow, he starts getting steady power, and he rolls off the front himself. So we ended up having 2 flyers. They end up getting connected, working together, and they stay away for the rest of the race. We kind of keep them in our sights, so we're all like chomping at the bit to bring them back. But the red team does such a good job at blocking or doing counterattacks and kind of just disrupting us, using their numbers to their advantage. And it just makes it really tough. And those two leaders end up staying away to get P1, P2. So right here, we're trying to get motivated. We're getting guys on the front to try and keep the momentum up. Well, I'm just riding this gutter and using my momentum, and I'm not putting a lot of power down to go. Well, unfortunately, we get a little too close to the gutter. Check the rear cam. I take a little cross maneuver and get pushed out wide. Just a guy looked to his left right when I was coming by him, and his weight shifted to the right, and he came over into me. Everybody stayed up, and we're all good. Got a counter attack right here. So again, we're trying to chase these two leaders down, and it's just not working. And Shannon right here in front of the blue Benismo guy does a fantastic job. So there's two more guys chasing leaders now that got a gap on us, and we're like, heck no, we've got to make something happen. And so the pace is going to ramp up, and we're going to bring these guys back. But the whole time, you know, the red team is just in perfect position every single time, it seems like, to block us. You know, Jake's yelling up at the Benismo guys, and the guy right here in the cotton candy kit who just boom hops out of the saddle, and he's like, all right, I'm not going to let two more guys get away from us, and it's game on. This really hurt me right here. Trying my best to stay on a wheel because we're coming down to the last laps. I believe it's 5 to go right here, and you know, you don't want to be caught off guard with such short laps. End up bringing those two flyers back. Right there, you can see them in front of us. We just caught them. Well, sure enough, what does red do? They counter again. Guy up the left side right here, he goes, and it's just relentless. I get a little boxed in. Couldn't really counter that and cover that move. But people are motivated. They're filling it in, and I'm trying to keep my heart rate as low as possible. It's not really working, running the high 170s. But we've got the field is just kind of blowing apart right here with these last couple laps, and we're all trying our best to stay in position. Me and Jake it turns out we just don't have the legs tonight for this race. So hopefully next time we come around, we'll have a little bit fresher legs, have a little bit better strategy, maybe another teammate or two, and we'll see what happens. So pushing onward, guys. 3 to go, coming to the line for 2 to go, and I find myself on the front. Again, we still see those two leaders in our sights, and I just get countered with coming to 2 to go. And this course is so short. You guys have seen it before. You really want to make sure you're no further back than like 4th wheel on this, especially coming into the last lap, because it's just, you know, you're running so fast and it's so hard to pass on a short track. Well, I am in a horrible position. Jake's way up there on 3rd wheel in a fantastic position. And I am kind of just have a lapse of judgment right here and kind of think I have more time than I really do. You know, next time we come to this course, I'll have a little bit refresher on how soon I need to go, where I need to be. But it lets up right here. And at this point, the two leaders are gone, like I mentioned, and we're all racing for 3rd, and we're all jockeying for position. Well, the red team, they still have 3 guys in this group to, you know, do an early last lap attack, or to block, or to give a lead out train, something. So they're kind of in the best position. I'm waiting and like trying to read some body language of some guys back here. I was hoping this guy in the green, he stands at the saddle, and I was hoping he was going to go. I was ready to follow his wheel, but he kind of just, I think he kind of just second guesses himself. Maybe he's warming his legs up. And as that happens, the front of the field gets out of the saddle, last lap bell ringer, ramps up the power. And I'm just in a really bad position, coming out of this left-hander, not in a great position. What am I doing? Luckily, it lets up just a little bit, and I get to coast and maintain power and get up close towards Jake, but this is I'm too far back. I need to be like no further back than 4th wheel coming through this, because everyone's just jockeying for position. And This is the fastest probably we've taken this corner all day. So watch Jake's pedals. He pedal strikes right in front of me, and I was about to just launch. Bad timing, but it happens. It's all good. And now it's just a drag race for everybody to the finish. And we all fan out, navigate through some traffic, and kind of just give a half-hearted sprint right here and just make it home safe. That's it for this one, guys. Be on the lookout for all these upcoming videos of this Tuesday night crit. It is like it's like a 10 or 15 week series, so we're gonna have a ton of stuff coming out. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna be racing with all these people through all these races, so it's gonna be good to see who comes out on top and how the battle goes. Appreciate it, guys. Catch you on the next one.